I'm a trekking guide in Bhutan, where we prioritize gross national happiness over GDP. An American hiker insisted we're hiding a secret gold vault under the mountains, he said. I know the Dalai Lama is laundering Bitcoin here for a tax-free paradise. I explained Bhutan is a constitutional monarchy, not a crypto hub. He replied that happiness is just a code word for offshore banking. He tried tipping me in DOG. My uncle manages a library in Estonia, the world's most digital society. A tourist was furious he couldn't find a physical voting booth. He yelled, "Paper trails are the only way to prevent lizard people from hacking the cloud." My uncle explained, "We voted online safely since 2005. The man claimed Estonia is actually a CGI simulation funded by Silicon Valley to test mind control. He kept checking our walls for green screens. My cousin runs a desert camp in Namibia's Sossusvlei region. A visitor arrived with a massive industrial fan to blow the sand away from his tent, he claimed. I read that these dunes were originally concrete structures built by the Germans. My cousin explained the dunes are natural sand formations, millions of years old. The man argued that nature doesn't make triangles that perfect without a blueprint. He spent the night measuring angles. I worked the ticket counter at the Royal Opera House in Muscat, Oman. A traveler tried to enter wearing a neon swimsuit and a snorkel, stated, Oman is technically underwater during high tide because of the lunar gravity shift. I gently told him we're comfortably above sea level and have a formal dress code. He insisted the theater was actually a giant submarine designed for the Sultan's escape. He wouldn't take his fins off. My brother manages a traditional plov center in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. An American guest tried to order a burger, claiming Central Asian history was rewritten. He said Marco Polo actually brought the recipe for Big Macs from China to Italy. My brother explained that plov is our national heritage and has nothing to do with fast food. The man countered that the Silk Road was basically the first drive-through. He looked for a straw in his rice. Welcome to the reality check. We travel to learn, but some visitors bring their own facts in their carry-on luggage. Today we are looking at the most confident cultural misunderstandings caught on camera and across the globe. My sister works at a high-end ryokan in Kyoto. A guest refused to remove his shoes, claiming it was a violation of his geopolitical footwear rights. He shouted, "Socks are basically just thin shoes, so the floor remains untouched." My sister explained the importance of tatami cleanliness. He argued that the American Constitution allows him to bear leather soles in any indoor climate. He eventually taped plastic bags over his sneakers to reach the bathroom. I'm a pharmacist in Zurich, where rules are absolute. A woman tried to buy antibiotics with a coupon for a pizza parlor. She argued, the Swiss franc is backed by chocolate and pepperoni is technically a dairy product. I explained that medication requires a valid medical prescription from a doctor. She doubled down, claiming that because Switzerland is neutral, I have no legal authority to deny her anything. She tried to bribe me with a Tio Bella. My father operates a boat tour in the floating villages of Cambodia. A tourist was upset the houses weren't on wheels. He claimed, I saw a documentary saying these are actually amphibious tanks disguised as huts for the upcoming jungle war. My father explained people live here to fish during the monsoon. The man insisted the fishing poles were actually long-range antennas for intercepting satellite signals. He kept trying to find the engine room in our kitchen. I worked the front desk at a thermal bath in Budapest. A man tried to enter with a toaster and a loaf of bread. He said the minerals in this water are high enough to conduct electricity for a perfect golden crust. I told him that electrical appliances are strictly forbidden in the pools, he argued. That Hungarian physics is 30 years behind the Midwest and the water is self-grounding. He spent an hour looking for an underwater outlet. My cousin manages a silent retreat center in the mountains of Bhutan. Visitor brought a megaphone to enhance the vibrations of the void. He yelled, silence is actually a frequency that needs to be amplified to reach enlightenment. My cousin asked him to respect the meditation rules. The man claimed that the Buddha was actually a pioneer of acoustic engineering and used echoes to heal souls. He was eventually escorted out while chanting loudly into a traffic cone. My brother runs a watch repair shop in Geneva, tourists demanded. He unlocked the hidden GPS in a 1920s mechanical pocket watch. He insisted all Swiss watches have a secret tracker, so the government can find you during an avalanche. My brother explained it was just gears and springs. The man argued that the ticking sound was actually Morse code being sent to the Vatican. He left after trying to recharge the watch in a microwave. I'm a ranger at a national park in Rwanda. Traveler tried to give a mountain gorilla a business card for a talent agency. He told me, "These apes are clearly humans in suits paid by the tourism board to act majestic." I assured him the gorillas were very real and very wild. He doubled down, claiming he could see the zipper on the alpha male's back, then tried to find the actor's lunch break schedule. My uncle manages a traditional sauna in Helsinki. A guest tried to bring an air conditioner inside because it was too hot for human rights. Shouted, "The Geneva Convention prohibits temperatures above 80 degrees in public spaces." My uncle explained that the heat is the entire point of a Finnish sauna. The man argued that heat is a social construct used to oppress tourists. He eventually sat on a block of ice he brought in a cooler. My sister is a flight attendant for an airline in Singapore. A passenger tried to smoke a cigarette by claiming the no smoking sign was just a suggestion for people with weak lungs. He stated, "I have a biological permit from my chiropractor to inhale nicotine at high altitudes." My sister informed him of the international aviation laws. He argued that the cabin pressure actually neutralizes smoke molecules into pure oxygen. He was met by police at the gate. I work at the public archives in Ljubljana, Slovenia. A visitor was angry that we didn't have records for his Slovenian ancestors from the year 1200, he claimed. I did a DNA test that says I'm 5% mountain, which is basically the definition of Slovenia. I explained that modern surnames didn't exist then. He insisted that the mountains themselves keep a digital record of every hiker's DNA in the rock layers. He started licking a limestone wall. My mother runs a traditional winery in the Kakheti region of Georgia. A tourist tried to mix our ancient Kaveri wine with blue sports drink to electrolyze the tannins. She said, "Wine is just grape juice with an ego, and I need my vitamins." My mother explained the 8,000-year-old heritage of our process. The woman claimed the ancient Greeks actually preferred neon colors for their libations. She then asked if the clay pots were microwave safe for heating. I'm a barista in a specialty coffee shop in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Customer complained that his coffee tasted too much like beans. He insisted, authentic Ethiopian coffee is supposed to be flavored with pumpkin spice because it's a harvest crop. I explained that coffee originated here and we serve it pure. Argued that Starbucks actually holds the patent on original coffee recipes. He tried to fix his cup by pouring a packet of ketchup into it. My cousin operates a ceviche stand on a beach in Lima, Peru. Traveler demanded we cook the fish because he didn't trust the sun. He claimed, acid from limes is just a placebo and doesn't actually kill the parasites of communism. My cousin explained that the citric acid denatures the protein. The man argued that heat is the only way to ensure the fish isn't a government spy. He tried to fry his ceviche with a magnifying glass. My brother works at a street food stall in Hanoi, Vietnam. An American tourist tried to eat pho with a straw and a knife. Stated noodles are technically a form of liquid pasta and should be treated as a beverage. My brother offered him chopsticks and a spoon. The man doubled down, claiming that using wood to touch food causes splinter-based indigestion. He ended up drinking the broth and throwing the noodles at a passing moped. I'm a server at a high-end restaurant in Casablanca, Morocco. A guest tried to return his couscous because it wasn't spherically perfect. He said I have a geometry degree, and these grains are clearly irregular, which ruins the mouthfeel. I told him it was hand-rolled by local women. He argued that hand-rolling is a myth invented to justify low production standards. He then pulled out a pair of calipers to measure the diameter of individual semolina grains. My aunt owns a bakery in Lisbon known for its pastel de nata. A visitor tried to sue her because the custard had burnt spots on top. He yelled, "Charcoal is a carcinogen, and this is an assassination attempt by the Portuguese government." My aunt explained that the caramelization is the signature of the tart. He insisted that perfection is always pale and yellow. Tried to scrub the stains off with a wet wipe before eating it. I work at a chocolate boutique in Brussels. A man tried to return a box of truffles because they didn't have filling instructions printed on each one. He claimed, in America, every candy has a map, so you don't accidentally eat a coconut one. I explained that half the fun is the surprise of the ganache. He argued that mystery food is a violation of the Freedom of Information Act. He bit into every chocolate and left the remains. My father manages a spice stall in the Grand Bazaar of Istanbul. A customer tried to buy saffron with monopoly money because it was the same color. He said, "Currency is just a visual agreement, and these pink bills match the quality of the thread." My father declined the colorful paper. The man argued that Turkey is a vibrant country that should accept vibrant payments. He eventually tried to trade his left sneaker for a gram of cumin. I'm a chef in a traditional trattoria in Naples. A tourist tried to order a pizza with pineapple and extra mayonnaise as a base. He claimed Italy actually lost the rights to pizza in the Treaty of Versailles, so I can do what I want. I politely refused to ruin the dough. He argued that the Leaning Tower of Pisa was tilted because of a massive fruit salad spill. He ended up putting mustard on his crust from a packet. My sister is a tour guide at a cheese cave in Roquefort, France. A visitor was horrified by the blue mold and tried to clean it with hand sanitizer. She screamed, "Bacteria is the enemy of the state, and I am performing a public service." My sister explained that the mold is what makes it Roquefort. The woman claimed that mold is just biological graffiti left by lazy farmers. She demanded a refund for the rotten air in the cave. I'm a train conductor. On the Glacier Express in the Swiss Alps. A traveler pulled the emergency brake because the train was too slow for a developed nation, he yelled. "Gravity should be doing the work here, but you're using gears to slow us down." I explained the safety mechanisms for the steep incline. He argued that friction is a scam designed by Big Oil to sell more grease. He spent the rest of the trip timing our speed. My uncle drives a water taxi in Venice, Italy. A tourist asked him why the street cleaners weren't out scrubbing the canals. He claimed blue water is a basic human right, and this green stuff is clearly a chemical leak from the gondola factory. My uncle explained it was salt water and algae. The man insisted that Las Vegas has cleaner canals, which proves that Italy is just budget Venice. He refused to tip because of the liquid litter. I work at the Panama Canal Visitor Center. A man asked if he could drive his SUV through the canal during the dry season. He stated, "I have four-wheel drive and a snorkel, so the water won't be an issue for my chassis." I explained that the canal is a massive series of locks and never goes dry. He argued that the Pacific Ocean is just an overgrown lake and he could easily navigate the mud. He tried to buy a dry pass. My cousin operates a tuk-tuk in Vientiane, Laos. A passenger tried to use a map of Los Angeles to navigate the city. He claimed most cities with the initials LA are built on the same grid system for consistency. My cousin tried to show him a local map. The man argued that the Mekong River was just a flooded freeway and demanded to be taken to the Santa Monica Pier. Eventually got out at a temple and looked for a Starbucks. My brother is a harbor master in Montevideo, Uruguay. A visitor was angry that the sun was setting in the wrong place. He yelled, "I am a gold-tier traveler, and the horizon is clearly misaligned with my compass." My brother explained, "We are in the southern hemisphere." The man argued that the Earth's axis was moved by the 2012 apocalypse, and we just hadn't updated our maps. He tried to recalibrate the lighthouse with a laser pointer. I'm a flight instructor in the Australian Outback. A student pilot tried to fly upside down because he thought that's how gravity works in the southern hemisphere. He said, "If we're on the bottom of the world, our wings need to push against the sky to stay attached." I explained that physics is universal, regardless of the hemisphere. He argued that down is a matter of perspective, and he didn't want to fall into space. He never finished his solo flight. My sister is a translator at the United Nations in Geneva. A visitor asked why everyone wasn't speaking American to save time. He claimed English is the official language of the internet, and the internet is where the world actually lives. My sister explained the importance of linguistic diversity. He argued that different languages are just auditory puzzles designed to confuse tourists and slow down the global economy. He then tried to use emojis to order lunch from a diplomat. I work at the Equator Monument in Quito, Ecuador. A tourist tried to jump over the yellow line to avoid the magnetic pull. He claimed, "If you stand exactly on the line, your internal organs will rotate in opposite directions." Assured him it was perfectly safe. He argued that the Coriolis effect would make his blood swirl like a toilet bowl if he stayed too long. He spent 10 minutes trying to balance an egg on his nose for scientific protection. My mother manages a bike rental shop in Amsterdam. A visitor tried to ride his bike on the canal water by pedaling really fast. He stated, "Physics says that surface tension is just a speed requirement that I am willing to meet." My mother tried to stop him from going off the pier. The man argued that Dutch water is specially treated to support two-wheeled transit. He and the bike had to be fished out with a long pole and a net. I work as a guide at the Great Wall of China. A traveler asked where the moving walkway was located. He said, "Building a wall this long without an escalator is a major ADA violation and should be reported to the UN." I explained it was built over 2,000 years ago. He argued that the ancient Chinese actually had steam-powered treadmills, but hid them from the West to win the Olympics. He ended up hiring a sedan chair for 3 feet. My aunt manages a gift shop in the Vatican City. A visitor tried to buy a blessed selfie stick and was upset when she found out they were just regular sticks. She yelled, "The Pope's aura should automatically upgrade the camera resolution of anything within the city walls." My aunt explained that holiness doesn't affect megapixels. The woman claimed that the Vatican's secret archives are actually a server farm for a divine social media network. She left complaining about the low-budget miracles. I'm a lifeguard at a beach in Rio de Janeiro. A tourist tried to sue the ocean because the waves were too aggressive for his tan. He stated, "I paid for a relaxing vacation, and the Atlantic is clearly violating the noise ordinance." I told him that nature doesn't follow local city laws. He argued that the tide was a controlled pump system operated by the Brazilian government to scare off foreigners. He tried to file a police report against a wave. My brother runs a safari lodge in Botswana. A guest tried to shush a lion during a night drive because it was disturbing her sleep cycle. She shouted, "Nature should have a mute button after 10 p.m. for paying customers." My brother explained that the wild doesn't have a bedtime. The woman claimed that the animals were actually animatronic drones that needed to be plugged in to stop the noise. She spent the night looking for a master switch. In a baobab tree, my sister is a curator at the Louvre in Paris. A man tried to correct the Mona Lisa's smile with a marker. He said, "She looks like she's holding in a secret about my credit score, and I find it threatening." My sister stopped him before he touched the glass. He argued that art is a collaborative process, and Da Vinci would have wanted his input. He was banned for life after trying to give the Statue of Liberty a high -5. My uncle is a park ranger at the Grand Canyon. A visitor asked why we didn't fill it with water to make the world's largest swimming pool. He stated, "It's just a giant waste of space, and think of the jet ski potential for the local economy." My uncle explained the geological significance of the erosion. The man argued that the canyon was actually a failed mining project, and we were just rebranding a mistake. He tried to throw a rubber ducky to the bottom. Navigating the world is about more than just checking boxes. It is about checking your assumptions at the border. When we travel with an open mind, we find that the world is much more fascinating than any pseudo-fact we could invent. These stories remind us that while culture might be confusing, the truth is always more entertaining than the fiction we bring with us. Would you like me to generate a second script featuring 40 entirely new stories from different countries like Iceland, Mongolia, or Thailand?